Here live on Marriage Monday. We just wanted to say hello and welcome back.
Welcome to Marriage Monday. As you can see, we are in a different location today. We are actually taking a walk in the park.
Walk in the park.
Yep, because we believe marriage is a walk in a park. Because we can have a lot of really good conversations when we are shoulder to shoulder and not necessarily having to look at each other face to face, eye to eye. We can say the things that need to be said, and then we can keep walking until we resolve some of those things. We're actually not talking about taking a walk today. We are going to be talking about shifting in seasons.
And shifting in seasons, we know that for a lot of you, school's about to start. May have started today for some of you, but as school starts, we know that your schedules get crazy and that you have to begin to shift on what's important in your life.
That's right. So we love to have you guys comment, let us know that you're here. So if your kids are starting school, or maybe if you work in a school, let us know when back to school is for you guys, because we want to be praying for you. We want to pray for your kids. So let us know, if you're a teacher and you are teaching, what grade you're going to be teaching and when you start school. And if you have kids starting school, what grades they're going to be in, what schools they're going to be at, so we can be praying specifically for those. And we're committed to that because you know what? We don't have kids going back to school. I remember the last year I got to take a kid to school. It was right when my son turned 16. So I guess that would have been his sophomore year. I remember having a complete meltdown because I was like, this is the last kid I ever get to take to school, because I loved the drive to school. I don't know what's your favorite part, dropping them off or picking them up, but I loved both of them, and I actually worked a job in that season where I could do both, and that was such a blessing for me. But I also know the job that I had in that season, I was super busy in the summer, which meant when it was time for everybody to go back to school, most parents were like, celebration cereal, we can't wait for our kids to go back. And I was like crying in my coffee.
Did you say celebration cereal?
Yep, celebration cereal.
I haven't heard that one.
But I was the parent who was super sad about my kids going back to school.
Yeah, and me, on the other hand, I was super excited. Super excited when they got their license, her not so much. But as y'all get into these new rhythms and new times of just like bedtimes, I know we have a lot of friends with small kids, and they're having to put their kids to bed super early, and so it changes just their whole schedule. So we just want to take a moment this Monday and just encourage you guys to continue to fight the fight for what's been important for you this summer. And I know it's hard sometimes. In the time with God, or the time together with each other, can go away pretty easy. But we just want to encourage you guys to continue to fight for what strengthened your marriage this summer.
You know, I know for us, when our kids were younger, Chad was super involved in Riley's sports. I mean, with both kids' sports, but specifically in football. And football season in the Pee Wee world was a big deal. And practices started in August. And I remember that shift in seasons for me, because I was sad kids were going back to school because I was going to miss them. And I hadn't gotten a ton of time with them that summer because I was a working mom, and my work required me to have a lot going on in the summer. But I remember Chad's focus shifting from just work and family to work, family, and football. And football was a huge priority in our house. I don't know about you guys and your kids' sports, but we didn't miss practices. We didn't skip games for anything. That was our priority and that was our commitment. But I remember the struggle of having to share him and to share my son with a whole nother family, with our football family. And while some of those people are still some great relationships that we have, I remember how hard that was, just the added weight and the added busyness of that schedule for us.
And I would just say, looking back now, I definitely did not protect our time. I definitely probably put that above definitely the family, definitely above my spouse, knowing that it was short-lived. But looking back, that didn't make it okay.
Yeah, we gave away a lot of our lives to Pee Wee football, and we recognize that now. So make sure, and that's where I've got 3 little things I wanted to share with you guys today. And the first one is this: just make time for what matters. In our house, family dinners were a big deal. And while family dinner was nothing fancy, it was probably browned turkey meat and macaroni. Dinner together was a big deal. And so that mattered. We made time for it. No matter what time of day family dinner happened, it happened because A, you have to feed your family, and B, You know, we just made it work in
Yep.
the season that we were in. So don't let anybody else's life dictate what yours should look like. Just decide what are those things that matter to us, and let's make those a priority.
And you know, looking back now, there's probably should have been times that we didn't go scout the other team. I should have spent that time with my wife, or watch game film in Pee Wee. As ridiculous as that sounds, we did that. But as these new bedtime start, as these new get up time start, and they're, you know, early to bed, early to rise, I would just challenge you guys to right now, before it gets too busy, is to calendar each other, to invite each other to say, kids go to bed at 8:30 or 9. At 9:30, it's our time. Maybe it's 15 minutes, maybe it's 45 minutes. But go ahead and schedule that so you two can be looking forward to it, whether it's something that you need to walk through because you ticked each other off that day, or it's just time to connect in, so that the day doesn't get the best of you.
Yeah, and I know, you know, that leads into the second thing, which is creating new rhythms. With every new season, there's new opportunities to create new rhythms. So your summer routine might have been sleeping in lake, going for snow cones, doing all the fun things. But then, you know, it comes time, like you said, for those new bedtimes, for sports practices. You know, when our kids were in high school, they had early morning practices. And so that meant we didn't get to have breakfast. I didn't get to do some of those things with them, but just create the rhythms, because you are going to take time to prioritize what matters to you. Create new rhythms for yourselves. I know for us, throughout all of our kids growing up, childhood, Sundays, you know, Sundays were family day. Sundays were the day that we went to church together. Sundays were the day that we had lunch or grocery shopped or prepared for the next week together. And we always tried to land at home together on Sunday evenings, and that was just part of our rhythm. And we even experienced that in our relationship with each other, that weekends were just a time to kind of reset and reevaluate and do all those kind of things. So just create rhythms that work for your family. And again, like I said, be okay with them. Be completely okay with them if that's what you've decided based on what matters to you guys.
So in those rhythms, as you begin to get your kids' sports schedules, your school schedules, and the pickup times, and it disrupts probably the way that you go to work every day, spend time each week, not one time, each week as their schedule changes, as they shift in an early Saturday game, a late Saturday game. Make sure that you are spending time with your spouse. Calendar, like I've already said, but make sure each week that you're intentional about spending that time.
That's right. And also, you know, the last thing is just to be okay with the change that's coming. With every season, there's a change. As it goes from fall to winter, winter to spring, spring to summer, there involves some change. And there's change in our lives. And I was not really good. I would resist change, and I would live with regret. I would always look back at the last season, at what I didn't do, or what we missed out on, or what I missed from the previous season, instead of instead of just being okay with the fact that things were changing. And so as you press into these moments, these new seasons, just be okay with the changes that are happening. It might not be ideal, but you're the one who sets the temperature for your homes and how you walk through these seasons. Because I do know that Saturday morning drives to football games were pretty hilarious, because they would blare music and the kids would be crazy. So to miss out on those because I was so frustrated that it was football season or any of those things I would have missed out on some great memories that our family has.
So I have to tell you, I'm holding the camera with one hand, and when I talk, my hand just starts moving. My wife is holding it down as we speak. As she talks, her hand's moving, but I can't grab it.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Well, his hand's moving the camera is the thing. It's the reason why.
A little behind the camera scene action there.
Yep. So we wanted to do this. We want to be real. We want to be live. We want to do life with you guys. So let us know how, just as you prepare for this next season in your life, whether you have young kids who are just starting school for the first time, or you have older kids who are nearing the end of a season. Maybe you're sending a senior to their last year of high school, or you're dropping kids off at college as we speak. All of it is important, and all of it matters, but we get to ebb and flow with the things in our lives that are changing and moving. And I can tell you this, you know, we had a really busy summer season preparing for a big event, and then all of the things that went into that. And we're hoping to enter into a quieter season, into a slower season as we get ready for baby Sutton, our granddaughter, to get here and just to serve and love our kids where they're at. So while your seasons may be, some of your seasons may be picking up and getting busier, some of your seasons may be preparing to slow down a little bit, and both are important and both are good. And so I want to encourage you, whatever your shift in your season looks like, to celebrate the milestones and the moments that matter in there. You know, if it's one last trip to the water park before school starts, or if it's a trip to grab a snow cone with the whole family, or it's a family movie night, be intentional with the time that you do have, so that you don't end up like me at the end of the summer, living with regret and resisting the changes that were coming.
And I can just tell you, you know, if you walk away from anything tonight, I just don't be overwhelmed. Surrender your schedule. For whatever it looks like. You're like, Chad, I have no control over the schedule. You do, because when you allow fear to come in, it makes it that much more hectic on your family, as a mom, as a dad, as you lead out. So continue to surrender that schedule, and each week just pray over it, each day pray over it, and continue the fight. Don't get lazy on us. Continue the fight even when it gets busy, but surrender.
That's right. So if you're just now showing up and tuning in, let us know what ages, grades your kids are going into, what schools, so we can be praying specifically. If you're a teacher, we want to know, a teacher or a coach, how we can be praying for you guys. And if you as a parent have any fears walking into this new season as your seasons shift, like I said, we love partnering with you in prayer, and we show up with you guys in fighting those battles in prayer. At the same time, thank you guys for showing up. If there's anything that we've learned through this whole Marriage Monday journey, is that when we say yes to God, it impacts other people in ways that we'll never know or understand. And that same thing applies to your lives. When you say yes to God, it impacts people inside your home and outside of your home. When you say yes to God, it impacts your community, it impacts your family, your city, and it goes to the ends of the earth. And while you may never go to the ends of the earth, your yes to God can.
And just, you know, everybody's platforms will be changing as school starts. So just to tag on to what she said, is remember the ripple effect. One pebble starts out as one little ripple, but it continues on. And so you don't know the impact you're making. So continue to make the ripples in the water as God has put you on the platform. Make sure you use it.
That's right. And this one's especially for you mamas out there and dads watching. Love those littles well. Love your kids well. Pray over them, because you are sending them out into a broken world that we live in, and we don't know what where the kids come from who are going to encounter our kids on a daily basis. But my prayer was always, Lord, that their light would shine, that they would be an example worth following, and that God would protect their hearts and their minds. And so be intentional with those prayers, whether you feel confident enough to pray them out loud over them, or you just do it when they go to sleep at night. It doesn't matter. It just matters that you take the authority that you have as the parent, as the spouse, as the leaders, so that we can walk through these shifts and seasons well.
Well, we love you guys, and we will be back next Monday. We'll actually be on the road, so we will be with some community friends of ours driving to do some races. So we will be coming live from the RV. We love you guys, and we'll see you soon.